Hello everybody, hope you guys are having an amazing tea day. This is James from TeaDB bringing you another Inbetweenisode. So today we are drinking another tea which I own more than a few of, the Yangqing Hao Lingya. People have been asking me to just bring on teas that I give a higher rating to. This is a tea I know very well. I've finished well over half a cake, which for me is quite a bit for a semi-aged raw because these I tend to drink by myself. And it's a tea that I really do enjoy, and it's a tea I drink regularly. So yeah, the Yangqing Hao Lingya, it's from 2007. It is produced by Yang, so this is sort of a companion episode, I guess, with the Jincha episode I filmed a little bit ago as well. So this comes in a 400 gram cake, and Emmett does some sourcing of this as well. And I was brewing this tea earlier today. I did about 5 steeps in the morning, and I just drank one. So I have steeps number 7 and 8 here. You might ask why I'm doing steeps that are so far into the tea. Well, this tea can go for quite a while. Usually I probably get around 12 or 13 steeps. So I guess the meatier steeps may have been a couple steeps ago, but I think these ones are still pretty good and full of a lot of flavor. So this tea has been Taiwan stored. So let's get into it. First we will take a quick smell. This is my pot. I'm using about 6.2, 6.3 grams for a 90 milliliter pot. Very floral, a little bit of like sort of woody, leathery vibes to it. Definitely firmly in that semi-aged category. I feel like these Yangqing Hao teas really tread the line on like dry storage versus like not humid storage, but a little more humid storage. It's very naturally stored in a place that is naturally quite humid and quite hot. So they definitely show some aging characteristics versus something like Kunming, where you can really tell the original character of the tea. These are supposedly Yiwu blends of sorts. So here we go, guys. Cheers. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit of bitterness right at the tip. So you definitely can tell it's still raw. I think some of the notes are sort of in that menthol camphor category. A little bit of that, a little bit of that cooling nature to it. Early on, I definitely got some menthol-y notes from the early steeps. Overall, it's fairly soft as far as a raw pu'erh goes, but it also has quite a bit of strength. Gonna keep going. Definitely some woody tones, and then I'm sort of paying attention to the mouthfeel. The mouthfeel, I'd say, is moderate to maybe slightly above average as far as just like body and thickness. Definitely fairly sufficient. And then sort of paying attention to how this flavor evolves. So it's definitely a raw in the sense that you can taste that sort of like slight astringency that dries your mouth up just a little bit, as well as the bitterness. But for me, the tea, if I wait just a little bit, you can tell that those flavors are becoming sweeter in my mouth. It definitely sort of coats the throat a bit, so the huigan is very good. For me, this is, you could say it has some energy. I think it's not the main appeal necessarily for this tea. I'm also not necessarily someone that's super susceptible to being tea drunk, as people call. So, I do get some energy sometimes from this tea. It's not the most energy-filled tea, so some people would say, that's like the main appeal of sort of higher-end tea. For me, it's not necessarily so. But this tea, for me, really represents a really well-balanced, a very tasty tea that tastes good. It brews out for a while. If this is the only tea I drink throughout the day, I am perfectly satisfied with it. It had a very sweet aroma at first. It's a little bit tart early on. Let's go. Steep number 8 here. This tea's just a touch lighter. So there's still sort of that bitterness there, but it's sort of like a more floral bitterness to it. There's a little bit of fruitiness to it, not a ton. Yeah, so well-rounded in sort of like those woody, floral, fruity notes. Just sort of enjoying the depth of this tea, which I find to be well above average as well. And so for me, something like this stands out a bit from the YQH Jincha. I think it has a little bit better depth. One of the most annoying things about the Jincha is just the fact that it's really, really compressed. It's 300 grams, but it's some parts are greener than others because they're further in towards the core. It's hard to get out even brews because of that as well. So this is just a normal 400 gram cake, and I think it sort of circumvents a lot of those problems. The tea, I believe, sells for about $160 to $165 per 400 grams. I got it for a little bit less, but I will say that I do think that price is very fair. I think it compares very well if you like semi-aged to aged teas versus 2018, 2017 options that you could buy that are from Yiwu. You're getting something here with over a decade of age that is, I don't know, that I would enjoy comparatively quite a lot versus the Yiwus that would be in the same price range. So I think it's also important to calculate that per gram. $160 sounds like quite a lot, but if you reduce that to 200 gram cake, it's $80, which is, above your average cake. But for an Yiwu cake, I think that might actually be, for a quality Yiwu cake, I think that might actually be beneath the average price that Yiwu goes for these days. So for me, just a really, really well-balanced Yiwu. I am going to give this tea a 7.5 rating. I think in terms of value, I think it does, quite well. Semi-aged tea, I'm going to be drinking this tea for a very long time because I own a bunch of it. And, I've heard some concerns about, like, maybe this might be too soft or something like that to age. I think it's a properly well-built tea. It has bitterness. It has astringency. You could definitely tell it's a raw pu'erh. It's one that I enjoy now, and I will continue to enjoy. So let me know how you guys like this episode. You can get this tea by contacting Emmett. He is doing everyone a great favor by sourcing these teas. I got this tea for a little bit cheaper because I ended up buying a fair amount of it with some friends. So we sort of got a bulk discount for it. But I don't find the price, I find the price to be quite good that Emmett offers it as well. So thank you guys for tuning in, and cheers.